back to Manitoba. We have an exciting final round here at Manitoba Provincials. We're here at Stony Mountain today, and it's going to be an exciting one. We got two guys tied at the top at -9, and the rest of the field nipping at their heels. This is Andre in the booth, and I got Matt with me.
Yo, what's up? Can't wait for this round. I love Stony Mountain, the abandoned rock quarry. It's crazy. There's 20 holes. You're in the forest, and all of a sudden you're out in a giant rock quarry. I love this place. I think we're going to see some score separators on every other hole basically here.
Yeah, and this course typically plays quite windy because it is so open. Today is relatively calm, so we'll see how these guys navigate that as we fly over one of these water features. Not something you see every day at a rock quarry, but there's one here. First up, we got Eric Wiebe. He's sitting at -9 tied at the top, and easily one of the top two Erics.
Handily. Him and Eric Giesbrecht are going to be duking it out once again for the top Eric. This time, one of them might win it.
That's right. Marshall Toews, the other guy at -9, joining him at the top. The actual farm boy of the group from Elma, Manitoba. And this guy, he can put it in from anywhere.
Disc Republic sponsored. Disc Republic does a lot to bring players out onto the course, including none other than Jason Tay, the Disc Republic man himself. Andre, we did it. He made it after he had a lightning first round. Choked it a little bit on 17 and 18 in the first round, and then came all the way back.
Finally making his Park Pro debut. Love to see it. And his fun fact, Disc Republic is not officially a republic.
Common misconception.
And Nick Briere also tied with Jason there at -8. He's the least athletic in his family, which is saying a lot about his family because this guy knows how to throw a frisbee.
Yeah, he's a real athlete. Oh, and we're starting on a different par 3 here than we started last year, so we're moving over by Players Central this time. Hole 1 is a par 3. It's uphill 330 feet. The entire circle is up on this plateau, so it probably plays more like 350, 360-ish, I would say. Forehand just to the left of this cool wide tree. It's a pretty popular play. Otherwise, you're trying to get a little bit lucky trying to miss those guardian trees in the front. Any idea why they changed the starting hole on this one, Andre?
I think it's so that they could have the crowd there at the start and the crowd there at the finish. Plus, it makes more sense with where the parking lot was located. I do like this as a starting hole. It's quite a bit of challenge right off the hop. See, most of these guys do this hyzer play, but there is a play right up the gut as well. So
I guess if we're starting on hole 1 here, that means we're finishing on the Mandy Landy Island. Is that right?
Yes, and that will provide fireworks almost guaranteed. There's a very tight out of bounds on that one, so stay tuned to see where these guys are at. It's almost guaranteed to be close with how tight the field is right now. Yeah. Take a look at Jason. Everyone's kind of ending up in those trees on the left, which isn't the worst place to be. We see Nick kind of going a little more up the gut with the forehand, known more for his forehand than his backhand. So
I like the play on that one. He just didn't quite turn it over enough. But it was sort of the right idea. You kind of want something that'll stay straight on course the entire way.
Yeah. It's maybe not a bad half bid there. Looks like Eric had a good look at this after hitting those trees, just dropping straight down.
Here we go.
Marshall.
First putt of the round. Good start for the leader. How is the mood on the card here going into the final round? Everybody's almost tied up at the top here. These are all guys that know each other, but maybe not the closest of all the players out here. I mean, they're all fairly close in Manitoba, but how's the mood on the card?
It doesn't matter who you have on the card. No matter what, you're going to get a good card of good vibes here at Manitoba Provincials, and these guys didn't let that down. So it's a good. Everyone knows what's at stake. Everyone knows that it's tight. There's always good vibes.
So maybe some nervous laughter going into the round.
Yeah, I think so. Hole 2, it's a par 4, 754 feet. You kind of start at this elevated tee pad, and you throw it out into this field. In your first shot, you really just want to get it as far as you can. Anywhere sort of to the left of this road or really right near the road is for your first shot is a good landing spot, but it's your second shot, your approach shot, that's key because the whole bottlenecks into this little area here. It's a kind of a tight gap to get into the basket.
Yeah, you kind of want to be playing to your approach shot. So if you really like a forehand approach, you're probably going to want to be over to the right a little bit more. If you're really a backhand approach person, you're going to want your drive to go a little bit left. But then there is also a power line and some guide wires coming down from the sky that you got to miss on the drive. So it's not totally a clean throw out into an open field.
You watch Eric kind of get one over on this. This is a good distance. He's kind of going to be caught behind those trees there. We'll see if he has a good look from outside of there.
There's so much room on this one, but it is absolutely possible to get yourself in some trouble, both on, trees and bushes affecting your swing, but also just getting some lousy footing out there. There's better and worse places on the fairway out there.
Yeah, exactly. And you'll kind of see these guys try to play for the road as much as they can, kind of like
oh, that's great.
Jason here. He's gonna have some nice footing, maybe a little bit slippery with that where that puddle is, but
he's got a nice compact throw, and he got the full flight out of that disc, and it's kind of what you like to see in a retailer of discs, is somebody that knows the flight of discs.
Mm-hmm.
If you get a recommendation from Jason on how a disc flies, now you've got the proof. He knows his way around.
He knows how to throw it. Exactly.
Oh yeah, he was in the mud there.
A little bit of tricky footing, but get this one to crash in, opting for the forehand. He's going to be in a little bit of trouble there with the thick bush there.
Ton of power on that forehand. I was impressed by his backhand. He got a nice smooth form and he got a ton of distance out of it, but he's also got a kind of a cannon of a forehand.
Yeah. And you need both out here. Of course, it's one of those ones that you don't need. You can get away with either or, but you're way better off having both of those in the bag. We see Eric maybe just a little bit off on that one. Probably not exactly what he was hoping to do.
Yeah, it gets nasty the closer you get to the green on this hole.
Especially if you're off to the right or the left at all. Jason actually ended up with a little bit of a look there.
This is a good birdie to get. Yeah, but there's not going to be shame in any pars out here.
Oh, Marshall putting it off the top band from distance. We said he could put it in from anywhere, and we weren't kidding. If you guys haven't watched round 1 and 2, go check that out. Marshall had some really nice putts and some really nice throw-ins. Eric scaring the basket as well.
Yeah, we got highlight machines out here.
Could come from anyone, from anywhere, as we see Nick put his in for the par. This is a good par to get. It would be nice to get the birdie, but you're walking away with the par on this one. You're not mad.
I was going to say nice work on the cleanup. Almost failed the dismount. Got it in clean. Eric's going to fall one back, meaning Marshall is sitting atop the leaderboard once again. I don't think Eric Wiebe has won a Manitoba Provincials, but he has upped his game to a new level this year. And I've seen more confident play out of Eric Wiebe this year. It's not just that he's a good technical player, but his confidence on the green and hitting lines has improved tremendously over the last 12 months, I would say.
Yes, I would agree with that as well. And very, do I say this? Very efficient. He knows when he walks up to a disc, he almost knows instantly what he wants to do. He's thinking about his lie. He's thinking about how he wants to throw it. And hole 3, par 4, 730 feet. First shot, you don't really have to think about it too much. You just want to get it out again as far as you can. But your approach shot, you don't see it as well on the drone here, but there's some weird elevation change. Where you lie on this ground, it matters a lot. Your footing matters a lot for your putts here.
Yeah, you kind of get a sense of it from the drone, but this is, like we mentioned, this is an old rock quarry, so this wasn't a professionally manicured landscape. This is the quarry as it was left by the quarry people. The
Which can
quarryists.
create some unique feature.
Yeah, there's roads. I mean, these lakes are just, that's where they dug out a bunch of rock. Oh, Jason throws his entire body into this one. A little bit too high, but that's going a mile. This guy rips a disc.
Yeah. See if Nick can do the same.
Yeah, this hole is a rip. So distance is paramount on the drive on this one.
Yeah, exactly. You saw Nick get just about the exact same spot as Marshall there. If Eric just blows past everybody.
He's screaming by the camera operator. Thanks again, Vicky. Great job with all the coverage, both behind the camera and behind the computer.
Maybe a little more height than what he would have wanted. He's up there. He's by the basket. He might have a long look at it.
Yeah. At 730 feet, most of these guys are still going to be throwing some high speed into the green here. So it's, like you said, it's you want to get a good landing zone, but at the end of the day, like, these guys are just trying to get to inside circle one a lot of the time on the second shot.
Yep.
Oh my
what a
goodness.
Shot from Jason.
Oh my
Look at
goodness.
that.
Forehand parked on the 730-foot hole. You'll love to see that.
Nick putting it quite close as well. Marshall.
Tugs that one over a little bit.
Yeah.
That's fine. Now, I gotta say, I don't dig the yellow quite as much as the baby blue. We're not here to judge people's appearances. But that baby blue was sharp.
That baby blue was sharp. It was.
What?
I mean, don't get us wrong. Nick, you still look sharp, but that baby blue, you got to bring that back.
What a birdie by Jason.
So good. Eric able to put in his par as well.
Yeah, I like
Marshall
what you
here.
were saying about Eric Wiebe. Everyone's got their own unique rhythm and their own pre-shot routine and stuff. His is one of the most mechanical that we've seen this year, in that he's got, I think it's usually 2 warm-up pumps and a putt, and before a throw, he doesn't think too long about it either, so he kind of picks a spot and then just gets into his routine, which is really short and efficient. I like to see that. I kind of want to use that in my own game more and more, and I think sometimes the longer you play, the more elaborate and weird your routines get, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. Take a look at our bunched up scoreboard. We got Jason and Marshall holding out that top spot. Nick, Eric, both in second. Brian and Bryce, tied for third and tied for fifth there. Devin, Coop, Brad, Josh, Robbie rounding out our top 10.
Yeah, nice starts from Devin Coop and Brian Free, somebody that we've seen, a couple guys that we've seen earlier in the coverage, and certainly capable of making their way back up to the lead here.
Yeah, I mean, they're only 2 strokes back, and they're probably only a couple holes ahead, so everyone's kind of in it at this point. As we take a look at hole 4, it's a par 3. I'd say one of the feature holes. It's a big water carry, pretty short for a hole here, but the water can present its own unique challenges, especially as it falls off the basket here.
Yeah, and it's slippery,
Towards the end there.
compact ground there too. So if you have something, higher speed in a lower angle, you could very easily skip off this little peninsula here.
Jason up here first, opting for that forehand.
Like this. I don't like that angle coming down into the green.
Yeah. And just to stay up top, I'll have a putt. Let's take a look at Marshall, a little bit lower an approach, skipping up real nice.
Wow. Yeah, he made use of hitting the edge of the ground there before the real flat, dusty part. See, that's the approach that I like by Nick.
Shot.
The higher shot that spikes in on ground like this, I think, is a much safer play. Yeah, Eric's even going higher in spike here.
Maybe a little bit shorter than what he wanted. He's going to have a bit of a tester putt here. Off the band, and unfortunately, looks like he might have went down that hill a little bit.
picturesque
Jason,
misses here.
Yeah, unable to capitalize. Eric's comeback, and he misses that one too. This is uncharacteristic of Eric.
I'll take my lesson. I'm never going to say anything nice about a player ever again, Andre. This is my fault. Obvious jinx situation here. Eric, I do apologize. I'll send you a Christmas letter.
Look at this. The furthest putt that he had is the one that he made. That's unfortunately for the which you never want to see on a scorecard.
That's a triple, but that was the prettiest triple bogey you're ever going to see.
Yes, agreed. Watch Nick put in his birdie and Jason was tapping in his par.
Well,
Yeah, that's a rough hole for Eric, and I hate to say it, but I think that might take him out of it a little bit, unless he could string together a bunch of birdies at the back. This is a notoriously hard to score course.
I predicted a lot of score separator holes. I'll be honest, this was not one of those holes that I had in mind when I was saying that. This one is usually kind of a birdie or par sort of hole, so really tough bounce back here for Eric to be 5-6 in that one.
Yeah, that's tough to see that one as we take a look at 5. It's a par 3, 301 feet. There's kind of divided into two sections here. This upper section where I want to play it safe for the par, just land it in somewhere in that gap and just lay it up to the basket, take your par. You can also go for it. There's a few different holes and a few different options that people usually go for, and I think we'll see a couple different ways to play this hole.
Nobody's laying this one up, Andre. Are they really?
Probably not.
No, this is lead card. I mean, not on purpose anyway. Marshall sort of forced into the accidental layup by missing the gap there, but there's nobody laying this up on lead card on camera, surely.
No. This is the interesting play. Nick goes with the forehand, notoriously a good forehand player, and almost seems like he could have punched through there, but don't think he quite got it, whereas Jason almost lacing it through the gap.
Just a little too much stability on that thing. Maybe he fluffed it a little bit out of his hand. Eric's always going to throw a committed shot at it, and that looked like a terrible kick. We just caught it out of the corner of our eye there. That looked like it might have gone in deep.
Marshall may be getting away with one a little bit. We'll have a putt from there.
All right, where is Eric in here? So it looks like somebody had to go. You had to go in pretty deep by the looks of it.
It's off to the left by quite a bit, and that's a great recovery shot from there.
That's really good.
Take a look at Jason. He had the opening. He had a good look at it, and he'll be able to get that one in for the par as well. There's Nick's shot.
Nick in there, yeah. Yeah, you could barely see him.
It was deep in the woods. That's the one I had to go after. Unfortunately, Eric just can't quite get it going on the putting green.
He seems rattled. We know he's the kind of guy that just steps up and flings it, and he's making it more often than not. And he looks a little bit rattled right now.
Mm-hmm. And that's an unfortunate one for Nick.
Obstructed putt, but one that he's going to want to have back probably.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. The pump.
Tell from his body language that he wants that one back for sure.
And we saw a rare Berg putter. I'm starting to like this Jason guy more and more. How many people do you know putt with the Berg, Andre?
I think one.
Well, we've seen
person.
I mean, big friendly Kyle Wiens.
That's right.
Hopefully we get to see him in Saskatchewan for the Gold Eagle Open. And now Jason Tay. That's two more Berg putters than I thought existed in this world. Hole 6, par 4, 544 feet. We're going to have a couple of different looks at it because this one goes between the tree line and the road. Road plays OB, point of entry, I believe. And then after about 510 feet of going straight down that tunnel along the side of the road, you cut in about 40, 50 feet into a very well-protected basket. This is a difficult hole.
Very difficult hole.
Marshall Toews going to take the tee. He is one stroke up right now. And yeah, this is the danger of this hole. If you're going to play the forehand or the big ante, you got to hang it out over that OB. It looks, the full 360. The non-traditional 360 there. And it works. And that is down there a mile for Jason.
You're saying I need to follow through a little bit more on my forehands.
I think there's no end to the follow through that you can do and have it be effective.
See if Eric can rebound from his putting green woes. It's one up near the road. Hopefully it stays in.
Look to be safe. Wow, and Marshall is right near the edge as well here. But it does open up the angle for the approach.
I was going to say, this gives they almost have the better angle on this. Maybe not as far up the fairway as they would have liked to be, but just putting more hyzer on this. And this looks really good.
That's a tremendous
bit
shot.
long, but he'll have a look at the basket from there.
You know, even with the missed putt there on that last hole, Nick is still only 2 shots back. So his heart's probably pumping on all these shots already, even though they're only through 6 holes.
There's that Berg approach from Jason.
I mean, they do call that class of disc putt and approach. So you are expected to putt and approach with them.
Mm-hmm. Kind of a challenging lie there, but is it a good, healthy bid?
Yeah, and low ceiling here for Nick. He's going to have to go through the tree branches. Doesn't quite get it to work. And that is a huge birdie for Jason.
Just like, that's about as picture perfect as you could play that hole.
Yeah. I'm impressed. You can see how he got himself on the lead card here.
Yeah. I wonder if you asked him what his favorite disc is, if he would say that it's the Berg.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it's your go-to putter and your go-to approach disc. That's my favorite disc, and I only do one thing with it, which is forehand approaches. So he's doing forehand approaches. He's putting with it. He's probably doing backhand approaches with it.
It's getting them to stay in the basket, that's for sure.
Yeah, I don't putt with it because I'm not a strong putter, and I need every ounce of glide I can get out of a putter. Anything that keeps that putter in the air, I need it badly.
Another look at our scoreboard here. After 6 holes, Jason and Marshall at the top. Nick not too far behind them at -8. Bryce is at -7. Brian's at -6. At a -5. Devin and Eric at -4. Unfortunately for Eric, he's dropped off a little bit, and right below him, the other Eric. And tied with Josh to round out your top 10.
We may still have a battle of the Erics on our hands here. It's not over. The Eric battle's not over yet.
They're both going to finish in the top 2, I think so.
I think so too. Hole 7 is a par 3, and it is a labyrinth here. We are now ducking our way into the forest for a number of holes here. It's only 249 feet, but it's really just getting a disc through the opening gap is job 1. And if you can do that, you're going to be better than probably a third of the field, because there's a good chance to hit early on this one. So anywhere near where the drone is right now is good. But if you can get it past the second group of trees, you get yourself a putt, you're going to be getting some strokes on some people on this one.
Yeah, and I really like this hole because, this whole course, the whole start of this round has been pretty well in the open, with the exception of the green of the last hole. Now we're getting into the woods, providing a little bit of variety and a lot of different shot shapes and different shot choices. So you can see Marshall here challenged a little bit with the trees.
Yeah, that is a common sight. And yeah, it's definitely one of the things I like most about this course. It's really well designed. You have just about every shot shape you can think of, and that's not ideal.
To see that from Nick.
He fully committed to it, at least.
Did.
It was going to get there. If it just missed that one tree right in front of his face, I think it would have got there. Really nice shot.
Eric just casually puts it really close to the basket. This recovery from Nick gets it out nicely. This isn't a long hole, but unfortunately for Nick, he went in early, so
it's a fine recovery.
Unfortunately, going to end up
good chance at a 4.
Long look at it from Marshall.
Marshall's good at a lot of things, but if I had to steal one part of his game, it would be his 60-foot putt.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Oh, Nick, getting the band on that one.
Yeah, I again probably jinxed him there, but when you hit that first available tree, if you got a 20-foot putt after that, it's suddenly a very difficult putt because you're the whole way down the fairway. You're thinking, man, I just hit the first available in front of the other three top players plus 2 camera operators plus whatever crowd is assembled now, and that's a hard one to shake.
It's all about handling your pressure at that point, and unfortunately got to Nick a little bit there, and hopefully he can shrug it off at this point.
Yeah, I mean, even with a double bogey, he's only 4 strokes back the lead here.
Definitely not out of it, that's for sure. You can see from his body language, he's having a bit of a difficult time as we take another look at Eric, who didn't have a difficult time with this drive. So smooth.
Yeah, he found one of the gaps. He had a more casual approach to that. I mean, he throws it a mile, so it is an advantage when you throw it a mile to be able to disc down a little bit, tone down the throw. But having a nice casual, smooth throw on that one is definitely a benefit. Hole 8, it's kind of like hole 7, but on steroids. This one is a par 4 at 215 feet. Yes, that's not a typo. This is a par 4, 215-foot hole. Because look at all these trees, Andre. This hole is absolutely insane. And if you can get it into anywhere on this lower opening here on your drive, you're doing great. But you still have an incredibly technical shot that curves all the way back. It's nearly a horseshoe shape on this one. And the basket is on top of the mound. Such a unique hole. There aren't really a lot of holes like this on the Canadian Disc Golf Tour, at least for sure.
Yeah, and we are playing from the shorter tee pad this time, so I think we're going to see a few people try to go over top. It shortens up just a little bit and makes it accessible.
Oh, they're not making them throw from 50 feet back of there?
No.
Oh, man, that was fun.
Not this year.
We saw some people hitting first available from the further back tee pad, and that really turns this hole into a nightmare for people. So this is at least kind of fair, but it looks like there is an over-the-top play.
Play, kind of. It's not a gimme though, because like you see where the camera's pointed there, it's kind of end up in a lot of stuff up there.
And that somehow got clean through everything.
Yeah, and maybe a little bit further than what he wants.
That to me is the line. I think he'll be right at the base of the hill and probably have some branches in the way, but to me, that's the way to get up that fairway.
And this is just a phenomenal approach shot from Eric. So you see Marshall went a little bit deep, but able to put it really close from there.
This is lead card right here.
Overshooting the basket by a little bit, giving it a little bit of a scare, but we'll have a little bit of a comeback or putt.
Am I mistaken here? Did we not see a single tree hit on this entire hole by any of these guys?
Just crazy. I think Eric hit one at the start, but yeah, just crazy.
There's Nick, nothing but trees on this hole.
Can't get that one to drop, unfortunately. We saw the smile from Marshall and Eric. He's in with the tap in birdie. Had the eagle look, but unfortunately just hitting cage, and he's a good consolation prize.
That's wild stuff. Look at the seeing eye shot here from Marshall.
Just great ground play as well. Checking up right where you wanted to check up. Hole 9, par 3, only 165 feet, but as you can see here, there's a lot of trees in the way. You just got to put it up into the hill and give yourself a chance at a putt. And that's about all you can ask for.
I do question some of these distances. This one feels a little bit longer than 165 feet.
It does, definitely feels a little bit, especially with the playing uphill. Definitely a little more challenging than that.
Yeah, but if you got a straight putter and you know how to throw it up a hill, this is your test. This is how you find out if you actually do have that shot or not. Or a nice light forehand with just a little bit of fade at the end.
And he hit the trees, but he hit in a good spot where he still has a good look at the basket.
This is
It's just a
textbook.
great approach.
Elevated basket, so it's still going to be a tricky putt for Jason there. And Marshall's also going a little bit low, but that's going to be close enough for Marshall.
Mm-hmm.
I think Marshall's tall enough that you can use that "don't hit your head" joke when he's like 4 feet away from the basket. The man
so,
he's a tall drink of water.
Oh, Jason. Hits the good side of the chains. Not able to make a drop.
Solid bid. Had good weight on it. Line was just a little bit off.
A little bit low.
He was hoping to keep that momentum going from the last hole because he's still only 5 shots back, and there's 11 holes to play here. It's certainly 5 shots is not out of the question on a course like this when you're as talented as Eric Wiebe.
Exactly.
And
the putting green just not working for Nick. That's one I'm sure he wishes he had back, and hopefully he can this putter going.
Totally out of sorts on this one. And Marshall's going to take the lead back. We are just seeing strokes flying every which way on this round so far. This is what I love about Stony Mountain. There's no gimmies. There's birdies and bogeys and doubles and triples all over the place out here.
Yeah, and that's like it's lead changes like crazy. And not just on this card either. It was all up and down the cards. I was watching scores the whole time, and it was always close with the 2 cards ahead of this as well. So
he snapped a twig right off the tree there horizontally. That was super cool. Hole 10, par 3, 226 feet. A similar shot, but more of a backhand shape than a forehand shape on this one. You're still going up a hill through a tight window. This one's got a little bit more room for some, bigger hyzers, things like that. It's not quite as specific a shot on this one. Let's have a look at our chase card and see how they're attacking this hole. As we got Brian Fries on the back of an eagle and a birdie, and Bryce Krauscher on the back of an eagle and a birdie. These guys are starting to light it up out there.
There's that classic Bryce walk in, even though it didn't quite go in. But
he'll walk them all in.
He'll walk them all in.
So a little bit.
These guys are charging. These guys are charging. -10. That's right up there. 9 feet, freeze, -9. You guys are not far behind.
That's Brian's Canada-themed Cardinal jersey. You can, I think, check those out on the Cardinal website still. Beautiful jerseys.
Old Toews.
Oh, this is looking juicy.
Clean, maybe a little bit short than what you want. But that's Marshall. That's a Marshall distance right there.
Yeah, a little higher, a little more hyzery. And this one might be 2 inside, or is this perfect? No, that barely inside.
With those little trees. Yeah.
So something kind of in between those 2 shots. Or what are we looking at here? What are we looking at here, Andre?
A giant forehand. And it's going to kind of work out for him.
He's right next to Marshall.
Yeah, crashing in there.
I'm guessing he didn't give you a heads up on that one before he did that.
No. I had no idea that was coming. I don't think anyone really did, but wow, that was crazy.
The disc just takes off out of his hand. It's just in his hand, and then in 1 second, it's like 20 feet up in the air.
Look at this bit. Oh, from Eric.
Great run.
Catching cage. That's crazy.
Just something a little off with the timing there for Nick, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Jason.
This is where Jason ended up after that.
Oh, he's going to jump through the long grass. Oh my God, Jason Tay, you are a god of the berg. What did we just with a berg, Andre?
Look at this.
That's a full throw with the berg. Is this like, did he put the word berg on some other putter? How did that even stay in the air that long? What a putt.
Yeah. Marshall can back that up.
Full pressure on Marshall now.
Oh.
Almost back-to-back highlights there.
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh my God. What a way to finish off the front 10 holes on this course.
Just crazy.
And
Yeah, just crazy hole.
we've pretty much got like a 70-foot highlight putt from every person that's ever been to Manitoba at this point. They all throw it in from everywhere.
Yeah, that was a nutty shot.
He threw his drive into the stratosphere and then canned a 70-something foot bird putt. Looks like they almost lost this disc. Oh no, that was after his putt. Unreal stuff. No pun intended there.
Amazing. Take a look at our scoreboard after 10 holes. We still have a tie at the top. It's Jason and Marshall, Ryan and Bryce.
The killer bees.
Not far behind.
The two of the killer bees are on the
10.
hunt.
That's crazy. Only a hole ahead. And top five, rounding out our top five, Nick and Eric. You know, Eric rebounding, but not having the best rounds that those guys would really want, you know.
And importantly, only 2 strokes up on Eric Giesbrecht. So lots to play for on the top and on the bottom. It looks like we're getting some separation at the top with this top 4. Nick and Eric and Brad are going to have to put a move on if they want to get into that group. But
yeah, exactly.
Stay
tuned. We got 10 holes left.
How could you not? Audrey, can we start this next 10 holes right away? I can't wait to find out what happens here.
Yeah, me neither.
I'm going to subscribe right now. I'm going to subscribe to our commentary right now.
All right.
What is it?